Before the story begins, welcome to Mythic Abyss. We map the monsters the world tried to forget. From every culture, from every era, from every shadow. New creature every week. Subscribe so the abyss doesn't swallow you whole. Welcome to Mythic Abyss. We keep going deeper. And tonight, we're back in Southeast Asia for a ghost that has haunted Indonesia and Malaysia for centuries. If you watched our Penanggalan episode, you know this region produces some of the most visceral horror in world mythology. Tonight's creature is different though. The Penanggalan is grotesque. The Pontianak is beautiful. And that's what makes her more dangerous. On the back roads of Java and Borneo, taxi drivers and motorcycle riders share a rule that has been passed down for generations. If you smell frangipani flowers on a road where no frangipani trees grow, turn around immediately. Don't investigate. Don't slow down, because that scent means she's nearby. The Pontianak is the spirit of a woman who died during childbirth or pregnancy. In Indonesian and Malay tradition, such a death is considered deeply unnatural. A soul ripped from the world at the moment it should have been bringing new life into it. The resulting spirit is consumed by grief, rage, and an insatiable desire for revenge against the living, particularly against men. She appears as a stunningly beautiful woman in a white dress, standing by the roadside or sitting beneath a tree. Her hair is long and black. Her skin is pale. Her eyes are dark and hypnotic. She smells of flowers, and she is irresistible. Men who see her feel compelled to approach, to speak to her, to follow her. And those who do are found dead, with their abdomen torn open and their organs removed, or with a single puncture wound in the back of their neck. The transformation from beauty to horror is instant. One moment, she is the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. The next, her face twists into something inhuman. Her nails extend into claws, and she strikes with a speed and ferocity that leaves no time to run. The Pontianak's cultural weight in Southeast Asia rivals the Dracula tradition in Europe. She appears in everything from Singaporean horror films to Indonesian novels to Malaysian comic books. And unlike many folk creatures who faded with modernization, she has only grown more popular. As each generation finds new ways to reinterpret her rage, the Pontianak's origin story is one of the most emotionally devastating in all of mythology. She was a mother, or she was about to become one, and she died at the moment of greatest vulnerability. During the act of bringing life into the world, in many versions, the death was not natural. She was abandoned by her partner, neglected by her family, or denied the medical care that could have saved her. Her death was not just tragic, it was unjust. This injustice is what fuels the Pontianak's rage. She is not a random monster. She is a wronged woman whose anger has transcended death itself. Every man she kills is a stand-in for the man who failed her. Every attack is an act of revenge against a world that treated her as disposable. The defense against the Pontianak is specific and widely known across Southeast Asia. If you can drive a nail into the back of her neck, into the exact spot where she typically kills her victims, she transforms. The monstrous spirit subsides, and she becomes a beautiful, obedient wife. She will live with you, cook for you, care for you. But if the nail is ever removed, even accidentally, the Pontianak returns instantly, and the man who thought he had tamed her becomes her next victim. This defense mechanism reveals something profound about the legend's cultural context. The nail in the neck is a metaphor for control. The idea that a dangerous woman can be made safe through physical restraint, turned from a threat into a wife, speaks to deep anxieties about gender, power, and the consequences of male violence against women. Modern feminist readings of the Pontianak have reclaimed her as a symbol of female rage against patriarchal violence. She is not the villain of her story. The system that killed her is the villain. She is the consequence. The Pontianak's connection to childbirth death carries weight that modern audiences may not fully appreciate. In pre-modern Southeast Asia, maternal mortality was devastatingly common. Women died in childbirth at rates that would horrify modern medicine. And many of those deaths occurred in remote villages far from any medical help. The Pontianak legend gave these deaths meaning. The woman didn't simply die, she transformed. She became something powerful, something feared, something that could never be ignored again. In a society where women's deaths in childbirth were often treated as unremarkable, the Pontianak made them unforgettable. Every woman who died became a potential supernatural force, ensuring that her death would be remembered, mourned, and feared for generations. The Pontianak is arguably the most popular horror figure in Southeast Asian cinema. Malaysia and Indonesia have produced dozens of Pontianak films since the 1950s. From classic black and white horror to modern CGI spectacles, the 1957 Malay film Pontianak, directed by B.N. Rowe, launched an entire genre. Its sequels and imitators have shaped Southeast Asian horror cinema for nearly 70 years. What makes Pontianak films unique in world horror cinema is their sympathy for the monster. Unlike Western horror, where ghosts and vampires are typically pure antagonists, many Pontianak films portray her as a tragic figure. The audience understands her rage. They mourn the injustice of her death, and they recognize that the men she kills often deserve what they get. This moral ambiguity makes Pontianak films more emotionally complex than most Western horror, and it reflects a cultural attitude toward the supernatural that is fundamentally different from the good versus evil framework of Hollywood. The Pontianak has also crossed over into contemporary art, music, and literature. Malaysian and Indonesian artists have used her image to comment on violence against women, maternal mortality, and the silencing of female voices. She has become a feminist icon in some circles, a symbol of what happens when society ignores the suffering of women, until that suffering transforms into something that can no longer be ignored. So the next time you're on a quiet road at night in Southeast Asia, and you catch the scent of frangipani flowers where no flowers should be, remember this: that beauty is a warning, that scent is a trap. And somewhere in the darkness, a woman who died giving life is still looking for the justice she was denied. The Pontianak doesn't haunt because she's evil. She haunts because the world failed her. And until that wrong is righted, she will never stop. Tonight's question is about justice. The Pontianak was wronged in life and denied peace in death. If you could give her justice, what would it look like? Would you punish the people who caused her death? Would you release her spirit? Or would you let her keep haunting? Because maybe the world needs a reminder of what happens when we fail the most vulnerable. Tell me in the comments. 19 episodes. We've covered ghosts, vampires, shapeshifters, sea monsters, forest spirits, and dream eaters from every corner of the planet. And we're still going. Like, subscribe, share, bring someone new. We're building the most comprehensive mythology channel on the internet, and every viewer matters. Next week, Wrath of Women continues with the Aswang, the Philippines' most feared shapeshifter. By day, she looks like your neighbor. By night, she hunts pregnant women. And she might already be in your village. This is Mythic Abyss. Legends. They don't want you to know.